Before we actually begin using levels, let's look at a different way to access levels. What I'm talking about is getting into a habit of doing something. For example, years ago, we would go image adjustments and we would go to levels and select levels from there. It would open up that wonderful dialog box and we'd begin working. Then adjustment layers came out and we began accessing levels from the half moon icon down here and going to levels and accessing it from the adjustments palette here. What I want to introduce to you, and I'm going to press undo to get rid of that one, I want to introduce a new habit for you. You don't have to use it, but it's just a little bit more efficient to getting to, well, actually any of the adjustments. And it is in the adjustments panel. Now, the adjustments panel has some options on it that just might make your life a little bit easier. So let's look at this. Number one, all of these buttons represent adjustments, the same adjustments that you can see here. So obviously, clicking a button up here would be more efficient than going down there. For example, if we do want levels, we could click this button right here, and it would indeed open up, create a levels adjustment layer, and allow us to begin working. So right there, and that's pretty cool. If I click this trash can icon right here, it will delete it. Ask me if I'm sure. I say yes, and it gets rid of it. So it's a little bit faster. You have built-in presets, and the presets help you out if you know what you're doing. You know you've got a preset for it. It's a lot easier to get it this way. We can click, say, levels, and we can go in, and we've got darker and increased contrast. We'll make our own in this lesson. Say we want to increase the contrast of this image, and we know these will work. Instead of going here, selecting levels, and getting the preset from levels, we can do it right here. And as you can see, instantaneous creation. Let's go ahead and delete that one again. Some of our other options. Number one, this button right here is to expand, which is the same if you click this button and say expand view right there. So you have a quicker way to get to that expand option to make the area a little bit bigger. This option I like. It's a clipping group option. For example, watch what happens again when I do a level preset on contrast. It does the whole image. However, there are two layers. Let me get rid of this again. Let me explain something. I've got the sky in a separate layer. The reason I've got the sky in a separate layer is I want to adjust the contrast of just the sky. However, one thing to remember about adjustment layers is that they actually adjust everything below them unless you clip them. What we want to do is click this button. So you make sure you have this layer selected. You click this button, and then you use that same increased contrast and watch what happens. It only adjusts the sky. Now you can see what's happening over here. This is called a clipping group. You can turn it on and off now that we're here with this button right here. And you can see what happens over here. It basically unclips it. Having the ability to use this is very powerful because it gives you the ability to apply adjustment layers to very specific individual layers. If you want to do it up front, that's an easy thing to do. Let me delete this again. Just simply by clicking this button right here. So we've got a pretty good idea what's going on here. You got all your adjustments, you got some presets, we'll make our own, expand, contract, clip group. A few more things under here. Auto select parameter creates what's called focus in an input field. For example, just real quick, if we go back and do levels, notice that none of these fields are selected. Now we can select one if we want to and then begin working in it. But if for whatever reason you want one of those selected, and let's go ahead and get out of here and try that again. If we say auto select parameter, when I create any of these, as you see, it is already selected. And then we can press the tab key to actually get through any of the others that we want. That's what that option is. Go ahead and get back out. I keep doing this, I know. The other ones that are here, you can now select another one of your adjustments from here instead of the buttons. You have the mask option we'll talk about later. By default, you will have a mask. Clip to layer is what we just did with this over here. All of these options in the adjustments palette give you the ability to generate very quickly an adjustment layer. So we had the habit of going here. We then changed our habit going to here. And now let's make a new habit. When you're using adjustment layers, make them and create them and work them from the adjustments panel.